So this is the big test. Right now, again, the beginning of the program just resets itself. So the arm knows where it is and the shuttle holders know where it is. We'll see what happens. So pretty cool. So right now it's gonna find that little switch in the back there. Oh, I got rid of the beeps, by the way. I just found them to be annoying. So now it resets it again because I need that side to be 0. So now that side's 0. Because 0 is the shuttle holders. And the clock comes down. Opens up. I have no idea if this is gonna work. Looks good so far. Just clears those bricks, thankfully. Well, I had to jury-rig this part a little bit because it seemed that the shuttles were not falling onto the vehicle nicely. So let's see what happens here. Actually, it might be better from this angle because it kept on getting caught on the back. Well, that was just close to perfect. Now let's see. I learned a lot in this program. I've done a lot more things that I never used to do. I used the do while loops. And basically I just made one, well, I made a whole bunch of subroutines, but I made one main program that basically didn't do that one and then this one and then this one. Basically it's just one program and I just increased the values by 1. So this is station 1, this is station 2, and this is station 3. So do while loop and then it's added 1 each time. So when it does this one, it's 1, and then add 1, and then it does the loop again, and this is 2, and then it does the loop again by 3, and it does that one. So this is the interesting part. I have to get the shuttles. So this is why I have the shuttle mover now. So this is a shuttle mover. That's kind of fun. So I actually have all these things in variables. So one arch is 85 degrees, well it's 95 in real life, but it's, or 90, 0, 90, 180, 270, but 85 rotations. So I just, again, do while 85 and then do another 85. So this was a ×2. So let's see how well this one comes down. If it comes down perfectly, I'll be happy. That's not too shabby. There it comes off. And then it goes back. And then it goes up again. I do have those pauses in there on purpose just to make it look like it's because I can just get rid of all the weights in this entire program and it would be faster, but I like the weights. I like the pause between everything. Now, there are certain places where I could do 2 things at the same time and I don't because I like the sequential program, but the shuttle mover, that big thing there, and the arm mover can happen at the same time. I don't bother. I just have, what, as they say, one sequential program. Actually, it's not, again, not a sequential program. It's a looped program, so it does it 3 times. And now it's going to move the shuttle to the 3rd position. Grab the shuttle there. Now, this is the first time I set him up. I actually had to go downstairs and build another one of these cars. So I have no idea if this part's going to work at all. So this will be a first time that both you and I are seeing this together, all together, the entire program working, because this is the last shuttle. Now I'm going to classic spacify the whole thing, and by that I mean I'm going to add some classic space stuff. I don't know what yet, So it'll be a surprise to both you and me. But I'm gonna have fun doing it. And here he comes around, flying around, carry on. So it gets to here, and then it'll land. Let's see if I even put this thing at the right spot. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Got caught in the back. Watch what happens when it gets caught in the back. Oh, it fell down. That's okay. If it gets caught in the back, when the arm pulls back, the whole thing gets moved around. So that's the entire program. I don't know what it's doing now, actually, because it was supposed to end. What's the last? Let me look at the actual. Oh, it does say move arm up, so this should be the last thing it does. And it is. That's the entire program. Now, of course, I have to reverse the whole thing to put all the shuttles back onto the shuttle carrier, but that's just basically reversing all these steps. I'm very happy with this. Oh, how did this guy get knocked over? Sorry, I didn't even notice he was knocked over. Maybe the shuttle arm hit that. I wasn't even paying attention. Put it over here. So really, really quick. I don't know if you can see the program. I'm gonna maximize the program. This is NQC running on Windows XP on my VM. So go right up to the top. Space layout, vehicle robot arm mover. 2022 for motor C, which what every motor does. Motor A is for the shuttle mover back and forth. That's that guy way over there. And then I have motor B, arm left and right. So that's this guy rotating around circles. And then obviously motor C is up and down. The arm goes up and down. Sensor 1 is the rotation sensor for the shuttle mover. Sensor 2 is the rotation sensor for the arm, so it knows where it is. And sensor 3 is just that one touch sensor in the back. So this is what I did. I never used to do this. I used to define my movements with everything, set power and on forward, on reverse. What I was reading, and I should have read it more closely 20 years ago, is that you don't have to do that. It takes up more memory space. So you just have to say which direction you want to go. Left is reverse, right is forward on this one, and off is off. And then so this is for the shuttle mover, this is for the arm, and this is for the arm up and down. So there's a rotation for the arm, and this is up and down for the arm. And then all the INTs. And I think I can get rid of one or two because I don't think I have a shuttle sim. I have an arm sim, but the rest of these are how to tell the arm what to do and where to go. So this is arm position, 1, 2, and 3 for the vehicle positions, and 0 is for the shuttle rack. So that's what I said. The 0 degrees is the shuttle rack, 1 is the first vehicle, 2 is the second vehicle, 3 is the third vehicle, or 0, 90, 180, 270 around the circle there. The increment, the actual, is the rotation value itself. The rotation value is not the same as the degrees. It's pretty close, but it's not quite. It's 85 rotations to the first 90 degrees, so it's 5 off, and that's fine. The increment is the difference between all four, which is 85, which is nice. And the offset is, if you want, and you saw the arm, this is, just take this for example, this is 180, but the arm has to go back to here, so the offset is 30 back. So I have to do that. That's what the offset's for. And then the same thing over here. The same thing for the shuttle position actual, again, rotation sensor, the increment between the three shuttle holders, blah, blah, blah. And so this is the first subroutine I created is to move the shuttle. And basically it says, it compares the rotation sensor to what I want, where I want it to be. So 0, 1, and 2, that's the 3 positions of the shuttle the shuttle carrier. And that has a specific actual number. So it'll move the shuttle carrier to where I want it. So if it's 1, it'll move it to the middle. If it's 2, it moves to the end. If it's 0, it moves it back to the beginning. And it just say left or right, depends if the sensor is lower or higher than the actual position I want it to be in. And then it stops. And then as move arm up, it was this subroutine I decided to create. It's really easy. Move arm up and then stop. Move arm down, it'll stop. And now the move arm, this is the rotation that I was talking about. And the position, the actual position of the arm where I want it is the position 1, 2, and 3, or 0, 0, 1, 2, and 3, times the increment, which is 85, right? Because that's the 85 is the actual rotation value between 0, 90, 180, and 270. But then you want to minus the offset, which is the number where if you wanted to go back 25 degrees or something like that. So, and then it'll just go left or right, depends if the sensor's higher or lower than the value I want it to go to, and then it stops. So that's the subroutines, and then the main is defining everything, defining. So this is where I used to put these in the define statement for the motor outputs. So the set power, each one of them would have a specific out A, comma 7, out B, comma 7, out C, comma 7. So that takes up memory space as well as line space. So now I have just set power once, and that's it for all three motors, and they're all 7 because that's okay. Sensor 1 is rotation, sensor 2 is rotation, sensor 3 is touch, and I went with the Boolean. So if it touches, it's 1. If it doesn't, it's 0. Instead of like trying to figure out, exactly. Wait time equals 300. Here's all the initial values of everything. Arm up time is 1300, and it's not milliseconds. I'm not sure how. I think it's. I have to figure that out. It's not milliseconds or hundredth of a second. It's not 1.3 seconds up, and it's not 13 seconds up. So. And then the position is 0, starts off as 0, and then again, this value can be 0, 1, 2, or 3. Actual position is 0 because that's exactly 0 degrees at the station where I want it to start. And the increment is 85. So if it goes to 2, it's 85 times 2, and the offset is 0 to start, and the stem is 0. And the stem is just for my do while loop that I'm coming to. And the shuttle, again, position is 0. 0, the positions between the stations, the increment between the stations is 50, and the stem is 0, which I didn't use at all. So then the setup starts, moves the shuttle left, moves the moves the shuttle carrier right to the left, and then it resets the sensor when it gets to the end. So the sensor is now 0, the rotation sensor 0, and then of course I have my wait times. Which annoys some people. And then we start resetting the arm and move the arm up, and then move the arm left until it hits the touch sensor. And then it sets the sensor to 0, clear sensor to 0. And then I want it to go to arm position of 2, which is 180 degrees in the circle, but basically 85 times 2. And then reset the sensor again. So now the claw is over top of the shuttle carriers and not over top of the second vehicle. Because that's where I want 0 to be. The 0 out is that side instead of this side. Now I could have rebuilt this thing and put the touch sensor on this side to get rid of 2 lines of code. I decided to just put the put 2 lines of code in there to turn it around. So the setup is done now, and start to run. So here's run. Arm stem is 0. So this is the 0th shuttle. And shuttle stem is 0, which I didn't need to do because I didn't use it at all. So do this little tiny piece of code here until the arm stem is while the arm stem is less than or equal to 2, because it's 0, 1, and 2, 3 shuttles, 0, 1, and 2. So the first time through, arm position is 0, because that's where I want it. I want the arm over top of the shuttle platform, but I also want the offset to be -30, so it's not directly overhead on the 0 mark, but 30 degrees over here because it has to come back into it, right? So that's what that does. And then move arm to that spot, and then move arm down, and then move the arm to 0, so the offset 0 now. So now it's exactly over top of the first shuttle. I just move back to the first shuttle to grab it. And then the shuttle positioning is to set it to 0, but of course it's already there, but it's still you have to add it for the subsequent loops. Move the shuttle platform to 0, and then move the arm up. So now it's picking up the shuttle. That's to move arm up. And then you have to move the shuttle platform back to 0. Of course, it's at 0 the first time through, so it doesn't do anything. And then you want it to move the arm position of arm stem plus 1. So arm stem is 0, plus 1 is 1, obviously, and the offset is -1. And that's how I got it to stop hitting the back of the trailer of the vehicle and move that by quote unquote 1 degree forward. Move arm to that position. So it's now in position 1 with 1 degree forward, and it moves the shuttle, the arm goes down, and it drops the shuttle on top of the vehicle. And then when the shuttle's on top of the vehicle, it goes back again to position 1, but an offset of 20 or 30. So now it moves it to the back. So it's here, drops the shuttle off, and it goes back 30 degrees. So it's behind it again. And then the arm comes up again. Move arm up. And now arm stem equals arm stem plus 1. So it starts to loop over again. So now all this is 1. This still goes back to 0, of course, because that's where the shuttles are. And then it picks up. But then when it gets down to here, it says, oh, I have to move down to spot 2, because this arm stem is 1 now, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So now it's going to come over to this guy. And then it drops him off, goes back, the offset picks up and goes back to 0, picks up the third shuttle and brings it over to this guy. So that's the entire program. And of course, the shuttle platform goes back and forth depending on which shuttle is going to be picked up, just like which vehicle is going to be dropped off on. So very happy about that entire thing. Glad it worked. Again, I don't think it's quote unquote show ready, but it's fun to watch. It's fun to make a robot. I wouldn't enter it into a competition. It's not at all close to my RTL Toronto robot competition standards, because it does screw up sometimes. But in the end, it's a lot of fun to watch. And that's about it. And I'm going to continue the program by doing everything backwards now to put all the shuttles back onto the shuttle platform. But I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to go to bed now. I hope everybody's doing well. I want everybody to hopefully stay safe and take care. Drop me a line if you want. I like talking to you guys. I like writing things. I like when you guys leave messages and comments. And contact me on Facebooks and stuff. And we can talk about this stuff. I'm just happy this whole thing works as it should. I got to use some NQC. I got to make my program basically a lot more different than how I used to handle my programs. My old programs used to be very, very rudimentary and not using do-whiles or subroutines or anything like that, or semmed too many times, and increasing loops. So I'm happy I'm doing all this. I'm learning about more programming, shocking, at my age. So in the end, this was a worthy endeavor, and I'm sure you'll see more of it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.